Hey, welcome to the next lesson of the course, which will consist of adding a base color to the illustration using the color palette we chose in the previous lesson. So, in order to color the illustration, we are going to use the pen tool to create lines, with which will separate each section of a different color. The schema we did before was on the screen a few seconds ago. And well, we'll start by reducing the opacity of the sketch. After that, we are going to choose from the palette the colors we want for the base. So guys, select the pen tool and, well, I don't know exactly how it's called in Photoshop. Let's say create selection lines around the illustration. This tool lets us get much more consistent strokes than with a brush, since we are making just a selection but of a bigger area. Okay, it might sound familiar to those of you who worked previously with the pen in Illustrator. It's not exactly the same, since Photoshop hasn't been designed specifically for clean and flat strokes, but for working with pixels and the different brushes options. So there are differences. However, the advantage of working with the pen is that it allows us, as I just said, to get a clean stroke. If we worked with Illustrator, we would get this effect easily and quickly. However, in Photoshop, we'll spend more time doing this since the software or the tool itself hasn't been developed for illustrating. Anyways, so we've already finished the selection, and what we are going to do now is to fill in the shape with the color. As you can see, I selected a gray tone since I'll be working with masks. Okay, let's delete those parts you don't want to include, and then finishing up the illustration with a round brush until we get the desired result. Okay, once the base color is ready, we'll move on to the next step. Guys, don't forget to add all the details you want to get the result you expect. Notice that the outlines of the initial sketch is still there. Can you see it? So what we're going to do now is to add the color palette to the illustration as a mask. Well, first, let me finish the hair since I'm not sure how to do it. Okay. So I'm going to blow up the opacity of the stroke to differentiate the parts I'm going to color. Well, the first thing we need to do is to select the brush and any color you want. Oops, first I'm going to delete this part since the whole of the handle, and then it shouldn't be colored. Great. Something like that, kind of. Okay. This part over here as well. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to select again the layer. Great. And I'm going to color the illustration with a flat brush. This thing I just did is linking this layer by pressing Alt to the one of below, which is the one of the base color we did previously. This way, it is creating the mask we want paint outside the illustration, and it will be coloring only inside the edges of the drawing, see? So this would be the drawing without the mask. It's a mess, right? That's why this option is really useful. Keep working with the different colors from the color palette to complete the illustration. I've painted yellow the cap because I want it to reflect warmth, and I'll use the dark blue for the wave. Remember that I wanted to do a simile between coffee and surfing. This way I'll substitute the brown color of the coffee for the blue of the water. Another option would have been using brown for the water. It would be okay. The only problem is that it wouldn't stand out as much as blue, since brown is a warm color as yellow and orange. And we actually want to insert something striking, like a change of color, something striking, right? Now I'm coloring the wave for the coffee, and it's not that difficult. It's just about coloring the different areas over the base color using a clipping mask. Remember, by pressing Alt and clicking in between the layers. As this step is just about adding color, I'll display the rest of the process with some music. So this would be the end of the lesson, and if you have any doubt, don't worry and don't stress. You can ask me on the forum and I'll try to answer as soon as possible. See you in the next lesson.